Hey everybody, in this tutorial we're going to be learning how to make the connector for the Automoblox car. This is the simplified version of the Automoblox car. It'll probably take a couple of tutorials to get through it. I'll show you how to do the basic part without a lot of details at first. So basically we're just going to start out with a rectangle that is 1.15 in length and 0.39 tall. And we're going to turn it into a half or a quarter pattern, and then we're going to mirror it twice. So that should be pretty easy to do. Now the way I like to do it is I like to steal part of the drawing that I'm using and trace it and then add some details to it. So I'm going to shrink this a little bit, and I'm going to steal the part of the drawing simply by pushing Control and Print Screen. When I do that, it puts the picture of the screen in memory. So then I want to minimize this, and I want to go to Paint. Paint is found in Accessories. Ours is in a student drive here. And Accessories is right there. And Paint. So when you open up Paint, then what's happened is you've made a copy of your screen. So when you press Control V, it pastes a picture of whatever it is that you're trying to copy. So now I can choose, in this Paint program you have to choose Image, and I'm just going to choose the image of, it's easier if I get all the dimensions on here too, so I just choose this much of the image, then I can come over here and I can crop it. After I choose Crop, then I've got an image that I can save as a JPEG and bring into our drawing. So this one's going to be called Connector. Just note where you're putting it. I'm putting it in my library's pictures file for now. You should probably put your picture in your file where all of your drawings are for your Automoblox cars in case you ever have to use it again. So once I've saved that, then I can minimize this or get rid of that, and I can go and find my document. Okay, and I can go back to my drawing, and I'll just choose a new file, new part, and whenever this loads, I'll create a new sketch. And I'll put it in the front view. And I'll just make a rectangle, and my rectangle needs to be the same dimensions as the part that I'm trying to draw. So I'll just put a rectangle there, go back, and I'll make sure 1.15 by 0.39. So dimension that. Okay, so I've got the rectangle made the right size, and now all I've got to do is in this sketch I can include the picture. So I put the picture that I made. Let me find it. It's in my pictures file. Should be in my... I'm going to have to pause. I'll find it. Okay, I think I found it. It's in my libraries, Documents, Pictures. So now when it comes in, it's going to be huge. You know, it's impossible to get the image saved the right size, so you're going to have to resize it on the fly. And so when this is kind of tricky to do, you've kind of got to drag this little corner until you think it's about the right size, and then you've got to move it in place, and you just kind of keep playing with it and zooming in on it. Let me center this, and then let's zoom in on that. Okay, we're getting pretty close here. We are almost the right height, and we're almost the right width. So we just got to fiddle with it until it gets to the right place. Sometimes this thing moves on me with one corner and stretches on me with another corner, so I have to keep playing with the program. Okay, so I hope you can see how I've got it about the right size now. Alright, so now it's just a simple matter of tracing out your image and putting the dimensions appropriately on it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to ignore the fillets and use the fillet tool on that to make the part. So really all I've got to do is add some lines. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to add a line down. Come over. And when the line tool is not showing up, there it is. And then I guess I want to trim some stuff out, so I'm going to trim that off. I don't think I wanted that to trim off. No, I definitely didn't want that to happen. Let's leave that there. I'll go ahead and get rid of this line. And I guess I'll just add a line in from there to there. Okay, sorry about the announcement there. Now let's make sure that our constraints are, our dimensions are the proper dimensions. So from this center point to that point needs to be 1.15. Look how close I am, right on the money. From this point, let's see, just click check. From this point to that point is supposed to be 0.39. Bang. Let's see, between here and here, 0.04. Uh-oh, I got to change this one. 0.04. And the height of this one is supposed to be 0.22. From there to there is supposed to be 0.32. And I think everything else will be correct. So now we've got to put our fillet on. This says this one has a radius of 1. Or is that 0.1? Yeah, it looks like 0.1, 0.05, 0.04. So we're going to do a fillet. 0.1. Then we're going to change it to 0.05. .05. Cancel that. Control Z is back up. That's better. And 0.04. That looks like it's done. So we will close that. This line is no longer necessary. Well, I guess we can use that as a mirror line, so let's leave that there. And we don't have a mirror line for here, so why don't we put a mirror line on that from there to there. Okay. So now over here in your browser, everybody ignores their browser, but your browser is very important. And what you need to do, let me right-click OK. Just click the plus sign next to Sketch, and then right-click on your image and change the visibility. Now you can see what you have is a quarter pattern. So take your quarter pattern and mirror that sideways, and then mirror the whole thing up and down, and you'll have the completed selection. So what do we want to mirror? We want to mirror everything except for the horizontal and vertical line. Zoom in so you can get the details. Right, so I'm going to mirror this, and I'm going to click mirror line, and I'm going to mirror it horizontally and apply. There we go. So we got our first mirror done. Now we can go in the middle and we can delete that center line. Now we're going to mirror on this line down. So choose your mirror tool again, and this time choose everything except for, hold Control down and take that line off. You don't need to mirror that line. Then hit mirror line and choose that line again, then apply it. So you've mirrored the whole thing with 2 steps. Delete your mirror line. Now we just got to go back to our instructions and find out how deep to extrude that. Let's go back here and let's see what the depth of that is going to be. Uh-oh, it's not giving it to us, so I'm going to have to read something. I had to get the right measurement, so I pulled out my Automoblox car and measured it for us. So we're going to do a extrusion, and it's got to be 7/8 of an inch. So whatever that is in when you press enter. I guess I won't do it. Once you've made your pattern, sometimes you have an issue with your item not being a closed loop. So I've been playing around with this and trying to figure out why and how to resolve the issue. And in this case, it looks like what's happening is part of the pattern is closed until I get to the ends of the white lines here, and where the green and white converge right here. I've got an issue with a coincident constraint that's missing. Same thing over here. These two are flickering, and over here. So what I need to do before I can extrude, if I click on extrude here, it's going to extrude and think it's going to be like a sheet metal pattern. So I don't want that to happen. I want it to be a solid. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to try to reconstrain in sketch mode. I'm going to try to reconstrain some of those concentric constraints. So with concentric constraint chosen, I just picked those 2 areas that needed to be constrained. So this point at the end of this curve and this straight line, or this point and this curved line, one of those 2 needs to be constrained. There to there. It's telling me it doesn't need to be, but it does. There. The curve to the point did work, so I'll try it over here. Curve to the point didn't work. Point to line did work. So you just kind of got to figure out what the computer's looking for. Either the line to the point or the curve to the point needs to be addressed. Once you get them all done, then you can keep trying to extrude, and then whenever you get them all figured out, then it'll give you a model of what you're doing. 0.875. So I know that seems convoluted, but if when you're doing your pattern something happens and the points don't quite constrain, then you're just going to have to back up and see why. Try to figure it out the best you can by looking at the clues that the computer's giving you. When you highlight the edges, it shows you which parts are constrained, and then just try to figure out how to constrain the rest of it. You'll need to use concentric constraints to do that. So in the next lesson, we'll learn how to make the rectangle on one side, and then we'll do 2 squares on the other and do some filleting and play around with this for getting the texture and that kind of stuff. We're going to do a simplified version. We're not going to have the exact same Automoblox car, but you will learn quite a bit from doing this lesson. So good luck. I hope it works out for you.